people put all that here, probably family members.
Oh, I'm sure.
To remember people that were killed. There were like 20 of them were kids because there was a daycare center in the building.
Did kids die?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. How many?
20.
Just one that creature.
As I was saying, that's where the building was, in the green grass area. This was a street where the water is.
Now they turned it into water.
Yep.
The granite was salvaged from the building that we're walking on.
Each of those chairs represents one of the person who died in the explosion. It was weird the way that bomb worked. Some people were 10 feet from other people, and some of them lived, others died. I mean, if you're just 10 feet away, the building was gone.
Yeah. Well, the little chairs, I guess, represent kids.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
That's where a lot of the little chairs are.
Mm-hmm.
Why did the bomb go?
In front of the building.
That occurred at 9:02. The 9:03 gate symbolizing the moment healing began.
The gates allow the city to transition into mortal space.
If something like this can happen in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, it can really happen anywhere.
And it is a symbolism of how good overcomes evil.
It's a message of hope. It's a message of healing. It's growing beyond tragedy.
The survivor tree represents us. We rebuilt and we're stronger for it.
What'd you find?
That is an M46 pattern.
Uh-huh.
That's an MA1, I think.
Oh.
That's a Scorpion. And,
Oh, it sure is.
and that's an M103.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they got an M103. Cool.
It's pattern, I think.
M47 pattern.
Oh.
In service until 1977, Hunter. That was the year before I was born. It was still in use.
Scorpion, I'm pretty sure.
A Scorpion is a German tank, Hunter.
No, that's a Scorpion, but with a C. I would assume possibly, I'm not sure.
What is a Scorpion?
Told you.
Anti-tank gun.
The German Scorpion's with a K, not a C.
M56. You're right. American Scorpion.
Yes.
You do know tanks. Looks like a Huey up there in the sky. Duster. Anti-aircraft guns. This looks like a duck.
Drive.
It is a duck. It's 2.5 ton duck.
No, it's not. It's
What?
48 pattern.
Yeah.
And the other one is either an M60 pattern or 295 E6 or something like that.
That's an M48 A6 there. And this is an M60 A3. They're fairly modern. I mean, they were used through the 70s and early 80s. Yeah, artillery. Big artillery. Yeah, it is. Only 139 made, 1941, 1945. I can see why. Transporting them must have been fun. I guess they just deployed them in heavy defensive locations, yeah. Where they needed big firepower. Oh yeah, F-86 Sabre. Okay. F-80C. Okay, so that's a predecessor to the F-86, I presume.
Directly in front of us is an M44.
Oh, it looks like it. You're right. Yep, M44A1. M110A2.
Look at that.
Atomic Dog. Oh, I wonder if that was one of them that can fire atomic artillery they were testing
Can I put that down?
in the 50s. I wouldn't.
My name is Max. This is the National Guard Museum for Oklahoma, the largest National Guard museum in the country.
Oh,
Well, if you see anything you have a question on, please ask.
okay. Appreciate it.
I can tell you a lot more about it. You're the only ones here.
All right.
The light fixtures over your head are 1917 caisson wheels,
Oh, wow.
and the lampshades are World War I helmets.
Huh.
Look at these toys.
Big machine guns, huh? Lewis gun. Oh, wow. So this is all the...
Badges.
Yeah, some of this is from his residence and stuff.
Oh, Hitler's personal collection, huh? I'll be. Bet that has some value to it.
Lights and all lockboxes. Lights are temperature controlled.
My name's Max. I'm a guy here today. I don't know if you've heard anything, and I told the folks over here. These people just came in. Oh, very good.
This is Mia from the Berlin bunker.
Oh, wow.
Actual one.
Yep.
Well, I hope so too. I was in an army tank.
Do not let that company.
Because that does not.
I don't even know where that sound is coming from.
It's M113, Hunter. Right next to you. APC.
A normal Jeep, it seems.
Yeah, the 45th Infantry Division that was from here is what liberated a lot of those areas in Germany. Not sure you see how there's rifles over there, and then these long muskets and Union infantry, and then over here you've got the cavalry shooting the carbines, the shorter ones, because they can't obviously handle those big long ones on a horse. Would not end well. Did you see this mortar hunter? Put that ball in and thump.
So it's painful.
And you can see all the tiny guns you want. Wow. Tiny city.
They're pretty tiny.
Oh yeah.
No.
Grayson, did you see the Gatling gun? First rapid fire weapon
Yeah.
right there. They turn the handle, the crank.
Why can I not just just hold the button?
Because it didn't work that way back then. Man, they got a pretty good firearm collection.
Why is that guy trash?
It's Arasaka. I had one of those for a while. AK.
Look on the right side there, those three
Grease
crosses.
guns.
Read the white card. The white card on the right side. There you go. That's a Russian TPS.
Oh, you're right. It is. Fooled me. I came around the corner and first glance.
Go for it.
The only knows as far as chain. The heavier, like,
There you go.
as far as it goes.
What if you pull the handle?
What, the Sherman?
Yeah. What model?
Why did you pick it? You liked it, right?
The M4A38.
A3
Yeah,
E8.
there you go.
Easy 8.
Yep, that's
Easy
right.
8. We've got one right out there by the gate. It's got a paint. It's kind of washed off it in some spot. Has a long barrel, and that's an M4A3 E8.
Yep.
Easy 8. That's what they called an Easy 8. It was easy to work on compared to other tanks. See, and it didn't break down as much. Made it easy to work on, and the less work you had to do on it, the easier it was. Right. The regular tank had a 75
Yep.
millimeter. It had a 76 millimeter.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you say, well, that's only 1 millimeter. But the shell was that much bigger.
Right. And then the British had the Firefly, where they turned the
Yeah.
gun sideways and put the 17 pounder in there, I think.
17
Yep.
pound. But that was basically a 76 millimeter with a big shell.
Gotcha.
Is handmade by the Viet Cong underground in
I'll
tunnels.
be darned.
It's a copy of a French rifle and it fires French ammunition. But if you see the quality of workmanship, there isn't any. And the forward grip is held together by a hose clamp. If you look at the tip of the barrel, you see the barrel consists of two metal tubes inside each other.
Wow.
This is a Browning automatic rifle made between the two world wars. It's a real beauty. Mahogany woodwork, etched on the front, deep bluing. It's the kind Bonnie and Clyde used when they were robbing banks throughout the Southwest. I was sitting here one day and at the front, and a gray-haired little old lady came in, and she said, "Do you all take donations?" Well, you know there's no fee, so donations are what we do. And I said, "Yes, we take donations." And
She meant a firearm.
I'll be right back. She went out to the car and she brought back a Nambu light machine gun with an 18-inch bayonet. And that was her donation.
I'll be darned.
Her husband had won that here in Oklahoma City for buying the most war bonds during World War II.
Wow.
And it sat in their house on the den and the coffee table for many years until he went to his great reward. And then for some reason, and there's no understanding women, guys, for some reason she decided she didn't need a light machine gun anymore. And she brought it here and donated it. 1898, Spanish-American War starts. And the American battleship Maine, named after the state, is in Havana Harbor in the Spanish colony of Cuba. It's sitting there in the harbor. The palms are blowing in the winds. It's nighttime. The moon is rising over the harbor. Boom!
Boom.
It blows up.
Yep.
250 Americans are killed on the spot. The United States declares war, goes to war with Spain. The war lasts 1 year. We win. Now, after the war is over, the Navy comes down into the harbor to clear out the wreckage of the Maine so that other ships can get by. They have a auction for anything on the Maine that is still usable. And that rifle you see on top there is listed by serial number on that auction bill. It was on the Maine in 1898 when it blew up in Havana Harbor.
Wow.
Piece of Americana you won't see any other place. If you were a gambler on the Mississippi River in an old steamboat, you needed several things. You needed a deck of cards. You needed a pistol that you could carry in your pocket, and you needed to be able to swim. Okay, so when the fifth ace fell out of your sleeve there on the table, and the guy across the table from you pulled a 18-inch Bowie knife out of his boot, then you used your small pistol and you shot him, which wouldn't kill him because none of these pistols are really capable of killing anybody. And then you ran to the railing on the ship and you jumped overboard and used that third skill, which was swimming, and you swam to shore. But so all these were pocket pistols, a very small caliber. Some of them, like these over here, have a folding trigger. Can you imagine putting that in your pocket and fumbling around for it? It's in here somewhere, bang, you know, or in your purse. Imagine a folding trigger in your purse. These don't have any guards over the trigger at all. But the one that's most interesting is 407, pointing this direction. See in the top center there? That's exactly the type and model used by John Wilkes Booth to shoot Abraham Lincoln. It's a Derringer. Now think about this. The ball and the powder have to be in that 1.5-inch barrel. So if Lincoln was over there where that mannequin is,
No way he's in it.
you'd miss him.
Oh, yeah.
Had to be as close as I am to you in order to be able to shoot him. This is a British Whitworth rifle. It has a telescopic sight and a special bullet you can see at the end of the barrel here that is unique to this rifle. It fits the grooving in just this rifle. Mr. Ingram, you see in the pictures here, it's him in the Civil War in uniform for the Confederacy. He was a Texan who was in the Civil War, and he was issued this rifle. These were bought from the British as sniper rifles, and they weren't used. You can see a picture of a sniper here up in a tree. They weren't used to shoot at soldiers. They were privates. They were used to shoot at officers. A man would get up in a tree like this, use the telescope primarily to find an officer, and then he would shoot that, preferably a general officer. He would shoot that guy about 400 yards away, which in 1862 is pretty impressive shooting. These muskets could hit a man maybe at 100, 200 yards in the hands of a good shot. 400 yards is double that. And the Confederacy paid thousands of dollars in gold for each one of these rifles. At the end of the war, the Confederacy surrendered, and they surrendered their weapons. The Union Army had all the weapons they needed, thank you very much, and they destroyed those weapons for the most part. But Mr. Ingram, being from Texas, didn't do anything he was told, and he got on his government horse with his government rifle, and he rode home to Texas. And he went into the millinery business, did very well, and he used his rifle for hunting. When he passed to his great reward, his heirs hunted with it or just left it alone, till finally one of his descendants was a colonel in the National Guard, and he donated the rifle to the museum. Of the 150 that were bought by the Confederacy, only 4 still exist. One's in the Smithsonian, probably never to be seen again. One is in the West Point collection. One is in front of you, and one is in a private collector's hands, and we won't be going there for lunch. So this is your opportunity to see it. Officers were allowed to keep their pistols. And, of course, knives and sabers, those were often kept and taken home, too. But most Confederate weapons were destroyed. Now, the ones right behind you in that case were not just Confederate weapons, but they were made in the Confederacy, which is very unusual. Confederacy had very few factories to build weapons. So these are what we would call today knockoffs. They're copies of federal weapons. Now, some were imported from overseas, like the French Labat revolver here, which was really a high-tech revolver for its day. Whereas most pistols had a 6-shot cylinder, it had an 8-shot cylinder. So you had 2 extra shots in the cylinder. Plus, if you look closely under the barrel, there's a 12-gauge barrel underneath.
Oh, be darned.
It fired a 12-gauge shell there.
to not let them out. And we would bring up medical, health, and food as rapidly.
Liberation of Dachau.
So the whole camp quieted down, and they just stood there and moved around a little bit. It was very peaceful. I didn't try to break out, as I was afraid they would try to do, because we were still in a combat configuration, and we couldn't have thousands of people running around in a combat theater.
He's 75. I said you were up here. Well, did you do it before you got here? Yes. Yeah. Yes.
This is modern day.
Hey, Mom,
There's a
that he said this
anti-tank grenade, anti-rocket RPG. Oh, see, taken apart there. Show you how the inside works. Mm-hmm. Used to transport messages for the military.
600 miles.
Wow. That's a lot of clocks. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you would ever keep track. That is a wide variety in sizes and colors.
Feet.
Fluffy feet.
We have Archangel, Slappy,
Pigeon
Lady Gaga, Curly is Shaken, Curly is Cold,
that's the fattest.
Penny, Brownie, Simpson, Holy, Starly,
Are you talking about that
German
one?
Beauty,
That one is.
Tito,
He's the
and
best.
Gerbil with an A.
What that?
I remember funny looking.
Oh, this
I want the fattest and derpiest looking one.
This one.
Genghis Khan.
Big bag. That's a big bag.
It's a lot of options. Oh, there's the one with the fluffy feet up top. Yeah.
This pigeon.
You can pet that pigeon.
Flying creature we call to control our spirits.